Over the past 3 weeks, one phrase has reigned supreme over the college football scene: conference realignment. Nothing about conference realignment is anything necessarily new or unexpected. We've seen some form of teams moving conferences or even divisions in each of the past 10 years. But with the recent emergence of the college football playoff and recent outcry about dominant teams like Cincinnati and UTSA not getting enough credit, programs are eager as ever to move up to that next level where they can show their worth to the entire nation. It all started with Oklahoma and Texas making the move to the SEC, and from there, the domino effect took place. A lot of the teams that are getting the most coverage in these moves are the big-time programs that I previously mentioned: Oklahoma, Cincinnati, UTSA, BYU, and so on. But I'm not here to talk about them. I actually think that the programs benefiting the most from these moves are the ones you've likely never seen play. My name is Kevin Redfield from TWSN and the Dropout Sports, and I want to look at the 3 current FCS teams that are coming up to the FBS level, those being James Madison, Jacksonville State, and Sam Houston State, and look into how they might fare at the highest level of college football. But hold on. Before we get into the video, I gotta ask y'all to subscribe to the TWSN YouTube channel right there. Trust me, I don't want y'all to miss out on all the quality videos and incredible shows we have here. So go ahead and click that red button. It goes a long way in making myself and everybody at the network feel loved and appreciated. Alright, bring back the music, and let's get back into it. Let me start off by saying that each of these 3 teams has a definite winning history. At least one of these teams has been a part of the FCS championship game in 7 of the past 10 years, including 5 of the past 6 years. But these teams aren't necessarily created equal. Sam Houston State and James Madison are currently number 1 and 2 in the FCS rankings, respectively. These 2 teams boast high-scoring, balanced offenses and 2 of the top 15 scoring defenses. They're also the only 2 teams to win an FCS championship game in the past 10 years, not named North Dakota State. Both teams have different offensive systems, with JMU's Kurt Signetti running an inside run/play-action heavy offense, and Casey Keeler's Bearcats running a primarily spread offense. But the fact still remains, these 2 teams score points in bunches. I can give stats on top of stats on why these 2 teams are so dominant at the FCS level, and hopefully you guys get the point by now. But what you might be wondering is where Jacksonville State fits into this whole FCS to FBS equation. On paper and in person, this team is the very pinnacle of a wild card. In this season alone, they're only 5-5, but they beat Florida State, an ACC program, in their second game of the season on a last-second heave from Zedrick Cooper to Damon Philyaw Johnson. Last year, they went 9-4 with another win over an FBS program, FIU, but the year before that, they went just 6-6. At first glance, they may seem like a questionable addition to Conference USA. But looking past some recent records, the program built by Jacksonville State is, in my mind, fantastic. From their $47 million JSU Stadium and Burgess Snow Field to their 5-year run of double-digit wins from 2013 to 2017, this school has shown a commitment and belief to their team, both financially and in spirit, that is 100% deserving of an FBS program. So what does this transition mean for each of these 3 teams? How will their FCS successes translate into the higher Division I scene? Well, I've attempted to answer that question using some data points. I tracked down each of the 11 teams that transitioned from the FCS to the FBS level over the past 10 years, and I tracked each of their win-loss records since they got to the FBS level. The first year of a newly born FBS program is never the best. While some teams will go over 500, there's usually a period when they're not bowl eligible. And with this being their first year at this level, I don't necessarily blame them for having not such a good record. The second season shows improvement across the board, and the 3rd and 5th years are where we see teams usually coming into their own, having a collective average of just about 500. When I put these programs' records on a year-by-year basis, the data doesn't have the strongest correlation after year 3. But when I realign these records according to the season in which they took place in, I actually found something really interesting. Up until 2019, the total win rate averages were anywhere from 30 to 44%. But during the 2020 pandemic season, these teams seemed to find their footing. That year, they went 14 games above 500, with Coastal Carolina and Liberty leading the charge with their one-loss seasons. That success is even spilling into this year, with those select teams so far combining to be a total of 59-51. So what does all of this mean for James Madison, Sam Houston State, and Jackson State? Well, the power dynamic of Group of 5 conferences is shifting towards newer programs. That is one thing for certain. We're seeing schools like UTSA, Coastal Carolina, and Liberty having great recruiting classes and high-profile coaches. Even though JMU, SHSU, and JSU are more traditional programs, they represent new blood in the FBS era where change and constant motion are all the new norms. Even with that tradition these schools are carrying on their backs, there's still one program they can look to for the blueprint: Appalachian State. All three of these central topic teams and App State have come from a background of dominant FCS football. And so far, App State has continued their domination since they entered the Sun Belt in 2014. They haven't had a losing season yet, and they're on pace for their 7th straight 9+ win season. Everything from amazing recruiting and coaching to their high-powered offense and electrically stunning defense, this App State team has been as consistently winning as anybody could ever hope for. Over the next 2 years, the college football landscape is going to change more dramatically than we've ever seen. I mean, think about it. Teams from Ohio, Florida, and Utah are going to the Big 12. The All-American Conference is scrambling to make up for their lost talent, and Conference USA and the Sun Belt are bringing in programs from all over the country. Everything is shifting, but through all of the commotion of this time, the rise of these 3 fantastic football programs, and in the same vein athletic programs, deserves more attention than it's getting at the moment. That's really the point of these videos. I want to shed light and give credit to these up-and-coming programs with millions of dollars and thousands of fans to their names. Hopefully, any of y'all that are still watching can keep these 3 football programs in the back of your mind and root for them when they get to the Sun Belt and Conference USA. While I was researching for this video, I was watching some highlights of James Madison and Sam Houston State games, and honestly, I was enamored by how entertaining it was on both sides of the ball. There's a ton of fun and good football that FCS teams can offer. And honestly, it took me 20 years in this video to find that out. It could be Yale, Harvard, it could be Youngstown State versus Southern Illinois. It could be any number of FCS games, I don't care. Just, if you've got the chance, go out and watch one. You will not be disappointed. Thank y'all for watching.